the there's not a ton of weaknesses with these two, right? You've got the pick-off potential with the Nyx Assassin. You've got a direct answer to the puck with it as well. You are protected against the split push with the Winter Wyvern being picked up. You have a more frontline and a more backline support. So I would say like Nyx is kind of midline. You need to be in there a little bit, but not truly committing. But Liquid's still leaving their options open. They're saying, we have the potential of pushing you. You just need to make sure that you're banning out these heroes that are going to be able to protect the backline. They actually end up banning the Night Stalker themselves. I thought that might be something that Team Liquid might be opting to go for.
Yeah, maybe the 16th, 17th, they would have had that potential, considering the vision.
This is still forcing the Beastmaster ban, though, right? Just for the vision aspect. And,
yes.
Like I said, you've got the Wyvern, but if you don't have a way to deal with the Beastmaster units, then you're out of luck. So honestly, something like a Doom being banned out by Liquid next really wouldn't surprise me. Good against the puck, good for, again, dealing with the summon units. I think it'd be a nice avenue for them to go down.
I think one thing that Thunder have to really take into consideration is these early movements we're going to see come out from Insania and potentially Boxy as well, depending on his hero to move to mid. Because Nyx he's not going to do anything versus like a catapult timing and an enchantress creep, and if you have the power rune just knocking on the tier 1 tower, and a Winter Wyvern can struggle with that early. So I think you really need a mid laner that is going to be relatively healthy if there's an extra hero in this lane, because I think that is really one thing we see. Teams that thrive on the enchantress is when they make these early rotations, secure the rune, bring the creep, and put a lot of damage onto the tower.
True. Don't hate this TA ban either. Again, it's protecting the puck a little bit. I think Team Liquid last draft banned the TA as well as the Void Spirit at this stage of the game, just to give the puck an easier time. That was at a period where puck didn't exactly have a direct answer outside of the Nature's Prophet a little bit for the laning stage. I don't want Thunder Awaken to go into the Kunkka with their first pick coming out of this phase, because then they'll still have options to be able to counter it with like a Zai Razor, for example. But I do want them to leave it open as a possibility to come out with the last pick of the second phase, because I really do feel like it'll do a good job against the puck, and it'll stop the Enchantress or any kind of push strat in its tracks if they do end up going down that Beastmaster route that I was talking about before, considering they got rid of the Night Stalker.
So Tiny is left in the pool, which was banned out prior if they want to go down that route. Gives you a lot of burst, which
do it.
Yeah, there's no flex now because of the Nyx Assassin being shown, but you're happy to play it.
Wyvern.
Unless it's mid-white. What? Nyx Tiny support duo sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty horrendous. But, and even the Wyvern into a puck is pretty terrible. Like, that's the thing that you don't want. You don't want someone that's guaranteed able to lock you down, because Wyvern really doesn't want to buy that BKB. You want to be doing damage, skirting around the fights as much as possible. So, what should they be picking here? Just a general hero that's good into any kind of lane. I was about to say I wouldn't hate the Void Spirit, but then that takes away the Kunkka as the option. Even just Dawnbreakering for themselves wouldn't be terrible. Even Pango, I still think it's a fine enough Pango game that you already have the Winter Wyvern yourselves. It's a good potential answer for the puck in the mid lane. We've seen that you can just throw it into the off lane on Sacred. Didn't have the amazing time last game, but he was still able to land some pretty good Rolling Thunders onto the puck with the assistance of Matthews Rubik.
It is something
even the snap, I was thinking maybe a little bit, just to have that bit of flex. But what were you saying, sorry?
I was going to say the Pango is something they do like to flex. Alone plays a very good Pango mid, and if you give it a Sacred. My only concern of like an offlane Pango is just like Enchantress +1 could make it so you don't have the greatest lane, because Pango Nyx is a very, very, very weak lane combo. So you're then looking to play off the back of pulling and just avoiding Liquid safe lane.
That's what happened in the last game. That's what happened last game, right? They made... I mean, this is another one of those heroes that has that flex, though, right? It's not something that Sacred really plays in the offlane, but you do have the potential of this being both safe lane. So now Team Liquid, they need to make up their mind. Are they saying, okay, well, this is... We just saw it being played mid. They want to do this. Let's still go for our death ball. It was really successful. I think there's going to be a lot of discussions happening with Team Liquid right now as to how best they want to respond to this.
Feel like the Dawnbreaker's off the cards kind of with the Nyx Wyvern first phase, so I think you could be considering something like a Marcy Razor if you want to go down that route. Of course, there's a lot of comfort for Boxy and Zai, and it's a really, really strong lane.
It is. You are still into the Winter Wyvern, though, so you're going to have that
Mhm.
Winter's
Yep.
Curse capability to be able to stop the BKB static link big strength of Team Liquid's combo. They go down a different route, and Nature's Prophet. Not Nature's Prophet, a Keeper of the Light. Now, what do they pair it together with? It could be a position 3 Coddle. That's something that we have seen done a lot. Again, though, it is into a Nyx Assassin, so you have to be a little bit careful with where you're throwing out those Illuminates.
10 seconds.
Hmm.
5 seconds.
Can't recall what they've been pairing together with the Coddle a lot of these times. It's mostly like a Clockwork, I think.
Boy.
Tide Hunter.
Very early Tide. This hero is rising in popularity through the major. Like, we're seeing a couple of games on it, and it's having decent success. It's definitely a hero that was not expecting coming into Arlington, though, but it's a very good versus Nature's Prophet, regardless if it's in whatever role. I mean, you don't care about the treants. The Orchid build doesn't matter. Nature's Prophet could go down a Silver's Edge route, though, which could be a bit of a concern at the later stages.
Could this be our first Legion Commander game? It's
For
not a
Thunder?
bad Legion game. Yeah. You kill the Tide Hunter, you've got the global presence from the Nature's Prophet, Nyx Assassin can set up for kills onto the Puck and the Keeper of the Light so that you get the duel off. Great way to counter the Puck and the LC is with Legion. They're going to go the Dawnbreaker themselves, which, I don't hate. They can still LC. I mean, you just duel anyone and then you've got multiple global kill threats coming through. To me, they need more to lock. Like, there's still the threat in my eyes of this being a 3 Keeper of the Light, and that's a big danger to me. If you've only got like one stun essentially with the Nyx Assassin,
Can you even consider? What? So you think 3 Coddle and a 4 Tide? Is that what you're?
10
Yep.
seconds.
Okay.
I don't know what exactly that Tide enables. I'm not sure why you would go that ahead of something like the Clockwork or something like that, but. It's some team fight, I suppose, and Boxy does like a lot of these more greedy position 4s that need their items to have a big amount of impact.
Mm-hmm. It definitely looks like both sides are really. This last pick is just going to pull the draft together perfectly. Like, it's the first 4 from Thunder and also Liquid. Like, where it seems even, nothing too crazy. We're not really favoring one side, but we haven't yet to see that final piece to fit the puzzle.
My other thing is, if this is going to be a 4 Coddle, outside of the Puck, I think you need to be enabling something else. It's not enough to do it for a Tide Hunter or yourself. I want to see a position 1 that truly makes use out of it. Of course, every time against Liquid, you should be banning the Bristleback and to a lesser extent the Lone Druid. But what else is there? I mean, the CK is an option, but again, Into the Wyvern doesn't feel fantastic. What else could they look to do?
I still feel like there's value in the Monkey, because if this is a Dawn 3, you just body the Dawn in the lane, and that's one of the big benefits of having a Dawnbreaker. And again, Puck Monkey is something they really like. There's a lot of team fight on Liquid, but maybe it's not. It's okay with the Coddle. You could probably go for better combos though if that is really something you're wanting. But Coddle Puck, I mean, you could be pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
It's Radiant's turn to pick.
I'm really reaching here, but we've seen mid-Tide happen once on McKay, and that basically won them the game against OG in like 20 minutes, I think, but you've already got the Puck, so it's probably not going to happen. Just as a bit of an answer to that Nature's Prophet and all of his treants. So essentially what they've done is they've said, okay, well, Nature's Prophet, you played it against us mid last game and it did a decent job. Now it seems a little bit more likely like it's going to be your position 1. So we're just going to lane a Tide into you and then we don't care about the treants quite so much. So I like that aspect of it. And then they're banning out things like the Pango, of course, already having gotten rid of the TA and the Ember Spirit. Kunkka's still in the pool. Like, Kunkka is a good answer to this Puck. But honestly, even if this... it gives you that extra little bit of catch that I was asking for, right? The Puck, the Keeper of the Light, they become a whole lot less mobile. Even just the X marks for the Tide. Don't think you can crack and shell that one off.
Dire should pick now.
Dude, I was going to say, like, there's no chance Master's, like, considering playing this Tide, right? I mean, we still don't know yet. No, yeah, Matu playing the Tide. There's no chance like he could play it as a 1. We still don't know yet. It could be a Slider 1. You could get real crazy with it on Liquid, but
5 seconds.
they don't have the greatest amount of armor on Thunder. So, if they think this is an offlane Slider, you could consider a Troll because it matches very well in the lane versus him.
Always
Monkey,
choose the
okay.
right crew for the job.
How are these lanes going, though? That's what I want to know, particularly from Liquid. Mick a puck. Give me an unorthodox Tide, pos 1. Come on. Ah, it's Zai. All right, Matu Slider. Most of the time when I see the Slider, I expect it to be Zai playing it because he plays it pretty damn well. But yeah, outside of this puck, it doesn't really feel like this Coddle's amping up all that much, you know? They've got good catch, for sure. The push is a little lacking on Team Liquid. That's what I'm a bit more concerned about.
Yeah, I think their high ground siege is going to be very difficult if Thunder are like somewhat even in net worth with the pretty much the Winter Wyvern, just a turnaround, like curse into Wukongs, and then all of a sudden you're in a pretty tricky position if you've got BKBs because the only way you retreat is like a Ravage to cover it. But I feel like Liquid, if they're far enough ahead, which they definitely could be with this lineup, like you have a potential to take Roshan incredibly early. They do have pretty good lanes as well. We got an interesting draft on our hands. That's what I'm seeing.
I want to see a really early Roshan coming out from Liquid. They've got the potential for it with, of course, the Gush and the Amplify damage coming through. It's not so much for the first Aegis, it's for the second one. I think it's just going to give Matumba Man a little bit more of that potential that if it does go to the later stages, that you could still keep up in farm. I want to see him be the one to get the Aghanim Shard. It lets you almost one-shot creep waves. It leaves them on like 1 hit each, and it just speeds up your farming potential a whole lot more. You can also go into the level 20 talent for extra damage on the Crush, just to make that farming, again, even more impactful. Although it is a bit of a... It's a bit of a choice, right? You could either one-shot waves and be able to farm faster, or you can go an extra -4 armor from the Corrosive Haze. To me, it's like, do you need more minus armor? You know, you've already got a crap ton with this Tide Hunter and the Slider just on their own.
So I think the big thing for me and with this Liquid draft, I think they're going to body the side lanes. And we see what Liquid does when they play ahead. They'll continue to run at you, and they love these fast-paced lineups. And I'm very concerned at how Thunder are going to play the side lanes, because you have...
It's better this time. It's better.
You reckon? Okay, I'll say why it's not, and then you can say why it is. Because Coddle and Tide, naturally Monkey's a really good laner, but how you're going to play this lane is Gush into Blast, and you're going to play range on Monkey, and he won't be able to trade with you, and it's just way too much damage. Wyvern's also a little bit better of a laner, but he can still struggle in that regard, so I think Liquid are just going to be able to easily have the Monkey from a distance with these abilities. And in the other lane, I mean, I'll say this real quick, because they are swapping the lane, so it does look like they recognize it's going to be a bit difficult, but if it was Slider and Enchantress up against the Dawnbreaker Nyx, that's a horrible lane. Like, Nyx is not a good laner at all, and with the slow and being able to secure Slider's bashes, you're going to struggle. So I like that Thunder are swapping lanes. I think if they didn't, Liquid would have just ran over this game.
Yeah, what I was talking about more before was I feel like you said that with the Death Ball being a little bit too hard, that like when they eventually run at you, you're not going to have as many responses. But this game, you've got the Wyvern, you've got the Nature's Prophet, which you had last game, but it was kind of the only thing that you had, and Alone honestly didn't do that great a job at joining with the rest of his team when that big ball of Liquid started to come at you. And then you've also got the Dawnbreaker, right? Sacred's the one playing at this game, so he's going to have a decent amount of farm when these fights break out. It means that playing it as a core, he's going to be able to get that early Aghanim Shard to combat these things like the Dream Coil. If he gets the Corrosive Haze onto him, just using the Starbreaker will remove that. It feels kind of nice that they have a bit of a better response. But I agree, the lanes are still going to be a bit of a challenge for Thunder Awaken.
Does look like, though, at least with the lane swap, they did scout it out just prior. So they could definitely play with a tri-lane down bottom for Liquid. Maybe they're going to look to play a couple of minutes top to really give Sacred a tricky start and secure Zai in a solo lane. Because I feel like I haven't seen Dawn versus Timebreaker as actually bottom lane in Sania.
Oh, maybe not.
Oh, Fairy Fire Sticks just gets out. Okay.
Certainly not an easy lane for Matu, though. He was forced to stay all the way back inside the trees when that Arctic Burn was up. Of course, it's only one hit that you really need to get the full impact out of it. Drains about 30% of your HP for a single right-click, which is pretty damn devastating. But it also means that you're not going to be trading all that well in terms of these last hits against Pakaz. You don't want to be giving him that early level advantage.
Sacred... I have the minus armor. Should be able to get back to the tower, though. So Sacred's going to be okay. When do you want to see Boxy come down to bottom? Does he even? Maybe just continue bodying top and then you force them to bring their support up to Sacred's lane?
I think at the very least you want Sacred to just have to expend so much money on regen that he's not going to be a factor in a lot of these early fights, right? Like, Dawnbreaker needs those couple of items. It's not much, but you need like that Blink Dagger, you need the Aghanim Shard, you need your Soul Ring Phase Boots to actually feel impactful. And if he's just constantly having to ferry himself out some regen with how this lane's been going so far, he's not going to get to a state where he can do that. He is third last on net worth right now.
Not having too fun of a time at all is Sacred up top. Meanwhile, Insania is going to take a decent amount of damage. Matthew and Pandamu, they've lost their abilities, of course, being on cooldown, so they're going to be relying on the right clicks instead, but Insania's got plenty of regen to be able to go through that. They're still chasing.
I mean, Insania is happy with this. Not that Slardar likes to be laning into the Monkey King, but even just to have a little bit of free time to get some extra last hits underneath the tower feels nice for Matu. And he's actually the one that gets onto the level 3 first. So it's a lot of extra damage that you can use with the Bash of the Deep, provided that you time it well. You're going to need to be a little bit more careful on these supports right now.
They haven't also...
Insania.
They haven't blocked the camps as well, at least towards the outpost. So Insania will have multiple options to play with, depending on creep. Sacred, if it... No, okay. Like, there's no chance he gets his solo kill into Boxy. That would be huge.
Cars? Okay. The Hellbear's going to end up dying there, but it's pretty good. Look at that. It gives you an extra 100 attack speed as soon as it dies, so that's pretty significant for this lane. The aura was also giving an extra 15, so I was thinking maybe they attempted to make a play, considering you do have a Slardar with that Bash of the Deep up at level 2.
Insania's going to be in some trouble. Really nicely done. Matthew was setting up with the tree line. Pakaz pounces as soon as they see the Enchantress out of position, and that is first blood picked up.
I think he got one extra hit in there that he probably should have with the Jingu Mastery. Otherwise, Insania might have lived there. He eventually got off the enchant, so he's not going to have it for going back into the lane. But to give up first blood to Pakaz is setting Thunder Awaken up for a good start to the game.
You see Insania's going to look to TP mid, though, and refill the bottle on Mikke. Of course, Alone has the power of... man, you can't be giving solo kills to Sacred like that, and... just sidesteps. He has the movement speed advantage.
Not the mana.
Yeah, not the mana is the big thing. Meanwhile, Matu also taking a bunch of damage down bottom. The tower's going to be okay. I do want to... how do we feel like these, at least Nature's Prophet and Puck, are going to be able to kind of play with the side lanes? Are we expecting early rotations out of these two?
Nature's Prophet's going to do absolutely nothing to Zai, so I think you just need to ignore that entirely. If you're going to make any rotations happen, it has to be down towards bottom, or you could just say, you could be reactionary. You could try and respond to a Puck rotation instead, because I feel like Alone is in a state where he needs to farm. He needs that to be able to have his impact. Sacred is last on net worth up here on the top side. He is still level 3. His courier is dying. So all of his regen is just non-existent, and he wasn't able to get that solo kill onto Boxy. So not looking too good for this top side, but in exchange, bottom going fairly well for Pakaz.
I've been a bit of trouble here with the Wrath of Nature coming through Alone. He's even got to look to TP down. R2 won't be able to cut through the trees. The Nature's Call now being able to body block up the Slardar, and that is a big rotation, because now they can put some damage into the tier 1 tower. They might consider rotating Tide down bottom, and yep, exactly what Zai's going to do.
Puts his body in the way, says, you are not taking my tower for free. Even, oh, nice pump fake there of the Anchor Smash. He wants to clear out this creep wave as quickly as possible, because those treants just do way too much.
Sania? There's a bit of trouble here. Enchantress off to the side, but I do not believe they have an answer to Zai, so This Tidehunter, I like what they've done. Put Zai down bottom. It's just forced to try and protect the tower. You give Matu top lane as well. This will finally have an opportunity, though, for Sacred to be able to play the lane.
It's like a little bit unlucky there.
Mickey might get a solo kill mid. Oh, beautifully done. Doesn't get the haste, but
as well.
So he gets a kill, and oh, Sacred, I thought he was going to be able to step into the lane going up against Matu, but Liquid, they bring both supports to try and continue shutting down the offlaner on Thunder.
Doesn't feel nice. I do like a lot of these rotations coming through, though, early on. I was thinking Nature's Prophet wasn't really in a position to do much down to that bottom side, but yeah, like we were saying before, Zai puts a stop to that. You've gotten past the stage now where you're really afraid of this lane with the Tidehunter against the Monkey King, right? They are making a lot of rotations through. Just the one point in the Kraken Shell.
They'll get the kill. Alone, not even required. It's because...
It's 4, though.
Yeah, but that's... I mean, that's huge. So if you can slow down Tide, because he is going for this Scepter build, which I do like in a game like this where you've got the Coddle, but... It's fine with bringing 4 heroes down, because now it's also going to be able to secure a tower. And we saw what Liquid can do in Game 1 when they keep their towers alive early.
Yeah, for sure. And even Insania and Matu doing small things like making sure to tank up a couple of those tower hits. That's why Matu's so low, so that the siege creep stays alive. It's going to open up a lot more of the map for yourselves. So good little plays coming through there from Liquid.
You see Matu is... He changed his item build. He had the Midas queued up for a bit of time. He's now going to be going to the Mask of Madness, so kind of the build that we see from some of the offlane sliders. It's interesting. I would have liked the Midas as well.
It's important to be able to chain lock down the Monkey King, because otherwise I don't think the Midas is going to give you enough attack speed, because he'll just turn around and fight you, right? Whereas if you've got all of that from the Mask of Madness, it's what, 110 attack speed? You're just chain bashing this MK, and then suddenly the big strength of him is gone.
Yeah, Midas gives you the capability, though, to be able to find your talents as Mickey. Cautious about this spy carapace, but even Zai is going to look to enter the lane. The threat of the Ravage if a team fight breaks out is going to make it difficult for Thunder to take this skirmish as Zai drops the ultimate, connecting onto all 3, but he's still going to be cautious about his health pool as alone. TP's into the middle and needs one more right click, and that'll be enough through the Kraken. And meanwhile, Mickey, he's cleaned up the Winter Wyvern. He's looking for more as well, but they will not have the stun to cancel Alone's TP. And now Thunder, they're even moving top, because with the threat of the Boundless, Mickey should be able to jaunt to the left, because he's going to be able to follow up, though. Let's see if he's got the damage required to get the kill. That's not going to be the case with Boxy standing hand in hand protecting Mickey.
I'm really surprised Sacred in particular turned up to that fight. He finally had a period where he wasn't being focused on, and it feels to me like if he just stayed in lane, was able to get this couple of lanes of farm, 2 range creeps sitting up top at the moment, that would have given him his level 6, and maybe the surprise factor that they needed to win that fight on Thunder. I've already mentioned at length how important it is for them to not be too far behind at the end of this laning stage.
Do you feel like only 1,000 gold behind, that they're pretty happy with how the lanes have gone, however, for Thunder?
I'd be happy. You know, You've only lost 1 tower. It's really about this 10-minute timing, like how the team's going to be able to set themselves up around that mid-rune. This game, it's really important for Pandamu to be the one that takes the tome. He gets the solo experience from dewarding and obs, so that tome should be enough to bring him up onto that level 10 and being able to counter out the push that's coming with the siege creep in mid.
Might look for... Oh, just missing on the Waning Rift. Meanwhile, Insania's on some dewarding mission. Oh no, not like this. Sacred. Oh, Jesus, that's a lot of damage from Matu. Mask now completed. It's going to help out a lot with him being able to keep up in farm as well. So he had a bit of a rougher start in the lane, but nothing crazy. 2-1 from Matu. And I do see, though, his counterpart, because well, he's off to a flying start. It's going to be a first item BKB here for the Monkey. So just looking to maybe combat the early movements that we're going to see out of Liquid.
Don't care about the puck. Don't get your Jingu dispelled by the Enchantress, and just be able to, I suppose, dispel off the corrosive haze as well. Not the longest cooldown on it, but you just don't want to be getting chain focused down by Matu.
Feels like it's...
End up actually bidding this big fight around mid, but someone's going to need to address this. Like, they're trying to make a play up here onto Matu, but you might lose your mid tower. That's actually so important.
Yeah.
Liquid are a roshing lineup. Like, you need to keep this mid tier 1 tower available if you can. I wonder if they're even going to pop the glyph to keep the siege creep alive. don't. It feels like a big opportunity missed to me.
No one defending mid should kind of signal out something's happening on the side lanes. I love Pandamu's positioning, playing behind Bakaz just to make sure that the Monkey's not going to be an easy kill. But they'll turn to the Wyvern instead, and maybe that can open up getting rid of the Monkey King if they can find him in the tree line. Meanwhile, top lane though, Matu, they can turn it back around with the rotation. Zai with the threat of the Ravage means that Thunder again need to play split up. Zai's just going to TP in to push them back and keep the Slardar healthy.
Buying out as well on Zai, making sure to use all of that unreliable gold while he can. And that tower mid is dropping a little bit low as well. Insania just using his Mr. Pinecone Man for the Ghost Push coming through.
Zai? Oh, instantly Kraken's off the stun. You gotta be cautious because the Rabbit turnaround, nice pump fake of the ultimate, wasting the spike. Carapace out now. Mickey turns up. The damage required to get the first, and now Matthews next on the chopping block. A blast will fly on out as Boxy already has the Illuminate max out, and they are not done just yet. Pandamu even wrapped around behind the tower, not playing with the Winter's Curse, so we will not be able to hold back Liquid as they find 3 kills, and even Bakaz is going to be a bit cautious. Wukong Command's going to get laid down. Does he have the damage? One more swipe of the clone will get the kill. But now Mickey, he's got to charge on forward. He's got plenty of magic damage to not need to worry about the armor. He's out of mana though on Mickey. Alone, still yet with the Orca completed. So Mickey will be able to get out to safety.
What's Matu going for? Going into the Blink Dagger next. I understand it, you know, wanting to be able to instantly get onto that Nature's Prophet or Monkey King or hell, even the Winter Wyvern with the Mask of Madness. But it really felt like with those couple of kills that they were able to get, I strongly disagree with the decision for whoever it was that got the tome, whose name wasn't Pandamu, to be able to take it. He is not yet level 6 against this lineup that's just been pretty damn aggressive on Team Liquid's side. They were able to keep that tier 1 mid tower for longer than they should have.
Oh, sorry.
It's just the one
actually,
point into the Carapace, unfortunately.
Might be enough for the Wrath of Nature. Is he going to take out to the Oscar Burn? No. Barely any damage.
I just got 3 points in the Arctic Burn, actually.
Do you like this? 3-1-1?
It depends, right? Because oftentimes the times where you see it happen more is when you're not as worried about the split push, when you've got more people on your team that need that farm. And, you know, with this Dawnbreaker having as rough of a time as she did, that is certainly the case. And also it just means for the laning stage, you've got a lot more... You've got less need to spend money on stuff like mana regen, because you're not just spamming out that ability off cooldown. It's a much longer time between Arctic Burns, and it really does amp up its effectiveness.
Does at least finally have the curse here on Pandamu. So Thunder, their potential to take team fights is still very solid. I feel like a lot of it is going to come down to the spell casting on Matthew. This Nyx Assassin is an incredible answer to multiple heroes on Liquid, in particular the Puck and the Coddle, so we'll see how Matthew's going to be able to play these fights. He also kind of wants levels as well to max that one out, but really what I'm looking at is this Aghanim Scepter almost completed on Zai. I'm intrigued if he goes a lot of the talents into the Gush. I have to imagine that's going to be the case. 15 I'm a little bit more uncertain about, just because the Anchor Smash damage reduction against someone like the Nature's Prophet and the Monkey could be incredible, but it does seem like he's really going to be the target in the Chakra, so I can, of course, see them going the damage route as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to go the slow talent, just because you've got a Slardar that's wanting to chase people down, and anything that's going to just enable that further is going to be a positive thing. Even, like, what exactly is he going to be Kraken shelling off as well that you're going to need that level 10 talent for? It's basically just the Arctic Burn, right? Maybe the Nyx Assassin stun, but outside of that, you're not really caring all that much.
Dude, this Gush does a crap load of damage. Like, we saw Tide be very popular, you know, a while ago, and the Scepter was something, along with the talents, that a lot of people would consider picking up early on, and it's a game where he's going to look to play his distance, honestly. Like, into the Monkey, you don't particularly want to be around the middle. Oh, Monster's run into Pandamu. Oh, Curse used defensively, and, well, Mickey's nearby. Offers the control to make sure there's no escape for the Winter Wyvern. Is that Roche? Yeah, you know, Curse on cooldown. That's a lot of their team fighting potential. Matu does have 2 points in the ultimate.
Why not? Zai's going to go right on there. Maybe just waiting for his courier. Never mind. Uses the Gush the first time.
They're going to try and protect the Enchantress. Oh, Matu's going to be in. They're straight onto Alone. The Ravage as well clips onto multiple heroes, but Matu hasn't been able to right-click through the middle of the fight. It's a decent start for Thunder. As they've wasted out Zai's ultimate, they might look to continue on as because playing around with the Wukongs inside the river. They will turn to kill off the Enchantress, but the rest of Liquid on the higher ground, they still haven't finished the kill onto Matthew. The Cold Embrace, buying some valuable seconds for the rest of Thunder to be able to connect, and Alone, he's in with the Orchid as well, as Mickey should be able to get the abilities back up shortly. He's actually going to orb to the left side, has the blink to work with as well, and he's out to the north.
Oh, they were going to try and catch him. It was very selfless there, coming through from Zai. He could have very easily used the Gush to get the retreating Nyx Assassin, but instead just opting to help out Mickey a little bit more, given the space that he needs to be able to get away. But it's a little bit of an opportunity missed. I mean, Insania, his job is to make sure that he's on the front lines breaking those sorts of smokes, but it really felt like without the Winter's Curse, they had plenty of opportunities to just walk on in there with their minus armor and claim that first one for themselves.
Honestly, Thunder have to be pretty happy with the position they're in. Like, Bakaz is incredibly farm. Top of the net worth, 4-0 and 3. Oh, Mickey up top. This should be a kill. Found the strike into the Orchid. Panda moves nearby in case if they require any extra control coming up from the curse, and he'll tick out afterwards. So this is getting a bit scary here for Liquid, because I feel like this game is incredibly even still. It's going to come down to execution in the fights as Thunder will find another kill onto Insane. You'll make him work for it. His goddamn nature's attendance along with the Untouchable. They don't know where the rest of Liquid...
for it, all right.
No way. Oh, what a hero.
Matthew slowly getting away.
So this is one thing that Liquid are going to look to do, I think, through a lot of the fights, is just play range with their abilities. Gush, Blast, Orb, even Impetus as well, but Insanity's going for a bit of a different build this game than what we saw kind of in game one. And I think the way really to enable this playstyle is Matthew has to be the first one to die, because always the threat of the Spike Carapace is going to mean that it's very difficult to chuck out these spells from afar.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the main thing. I was saying during the start of the draft that the puck had sort of been answered, you know, in the laning phase with the Nature's Prophet, as well as in the game by the Nyx Assassin. But, yeah, if you just take out that Nyx Assassin's influence, then suddenly doesn't have to worry quite so much. But I like in Matthew's build, just going a lot of those valuable items, Tranquil Boots, Windlace, Magic Wand. I'm sure he's had a Raindrops in his inventory over time, and then straight into the Blink Dagger, meaning that he won't need to play a little bit more on the front lines. What that does mean, though, is that a lot more emphasis gets put onto Sacred to play that ballsy role. The thing is, though, it doesn't really feel like he can until he gets the Blink Dagger in addition to this BKB. No one else wants to go on the front lines. Like, Bakaz still wants to sit back and farm.
With how even of a game we are at the moment, do you feel like either side is happy with kind of the farming rate? Like, I should say, is anyone going to scale better? Or is it kind of pretty even still at the later stages as well?
Sorry, I'm just watching Insania invade. Position 1 Slaughter is still a little bit of a puzzle to me, you know, because with all the farm that you get prioritized towards you, you do have the ability to literally lock down someone. So that's just going to outweigh anything, right?
Sania?
They're unstoppable.
Easy kill. Thought Zai was
That's
going to
be able to outweigh anything. But with all of these like melee heroes with the minus armor build that Bakaz is going, like Puck can die very quickly. And you also have, I guess, a pseudo counter to the Tide Hunter, at least until he drops the... after he drops the Quelling Blade. Like, you can crack and shell out of all this damage, but if you get sprouted out and you don't have a way to deal with that, then Monkey King could just hit you from outside. He's got the extra attack range to be able to do so. Speaking of that Deso, he's just about got the money for it.
Foxy, oh no, don't blast the wave. As soon as he sees Alone right-clicking is... Get out of the way. I'll let you take the wave instead. And
There we go, though. I mean, what a big deal it would be if Thunder Awaken were able to snatch that Roshan away with all of that minus armor. They're not lacking in damage, that's for sure. Dawnbreaker does a crap load. Nature's Prophet, of course, very standard. He's closing in on his BKB as well, so Alone is happy to fight in about 2 minutes' time.
I think also for Mickey as well, for when he's ready to fight, is with this Yule Scepter, because he needs this defensive item now against the Orchid on Alone. He's going to be very hesitant about kind of showing up to some team fights without this one completed. So it really looks like we've got a little bit of a stale section in this game. Just both sides trying to find their farm. Just wait until everyone is ready to rock and roll. And then, of course, it's going to blow up from there. Very even. Of course, the stakes are incredibly high as well in a game like this.
A little bit of a stalemate, yeah. I mean, it's this state where the BKB is so important for the Nature's Prophet. It's now been picked up as well by Sacred, and I mentioned before the value that this Aghanim Shard is going to give you, particularly against the Puck, and to a lesser extent the Slardar on Sacred. But the amount of value items that they've got on Liquid coming up shortly is huge.
He's going to run into Pandamu. Just a Wyvern that should be killed off. The Curse gets the double taunt, and they're going to be able to connect on this on Thunder. Mickey still isn't playing with the Yule Scepter for the moment. Martu doesn't have the BKB delivered as well. So they go too early on Liquid, and they're going to be penalized for this. Thunder looking to connect. We'll get a little bit of health back on Boxy. Insania's going to stall them out as well. But where's Zai? Nowhere to be seen is the offlaner on Liquid. He wants nothing to do with his team fight.
I understand a lot of the reasons
Insania?
behind it.
As well, it's going to be okay. Do they have the core to play with? Zai's going to jump in with the double damage, but not really much to work with. Meanwhile, at the front of the tier 3 tower will be Insania finally going down.
They tried to have a little bit too much both ways, right? I've already said how important some of these item timings are for Thunder Awaken. They've got the Blink Dagger now on the Winter Wyvern. They have the BKB approaching the Shard on the Dawnbreaker. You've got a Blink Dagger on your Nyx Assassin. You've got a BKB on the Nature's Prophet. And I feel like they were just playing a little bit scared.
BKB utilized mid lane. They got the first under the chain control. By goes Puck, and now Zai's going to be in trouble as well. They're starting to move to his location. But they will be too late to connect, as Liquid just not taking fights as a team and without all their big items. And this will give a drastic opportunity now for Thunder to have the opening to clean up Roshan and put themselves in prime position in this second game.
So what I was trying to say was, it's important, of course, for Liquid to wait for those items, but I feel like Thunder Awaken's items were just slightly more important for their team fight, for their team composition. So that's why Liquid went for that kill attempt, you know, before they thought Thunder Awaken could pick it up. You know, they get a couple of kill pickoffs, they've still got that quick Roshan potential, but like you said, they just weren't all on the same page. If Zai was there with them to be able to land that Ravage, without the BKBs being a factor, Liquid probably have won that fight and taken this next Roche.
Gonna look to play around with the Observer Sentry combo, but Thunder smoking down to bottom. They got a lane shoved out. They'll see Pakaz flying through the trees. BKB still on cooldown for the moment. Matthew's gonna look to jump in, but he's off the mark with the initiation. It's an early BKB out of Martu. He's going to be able to chase it down the Nyx Assassin, but the Cold Embrace buying some time, so the BKB doesn't give Martu too much, but he's going to continue to follow up as the chain control afterwards. Targeting Sacred. A Curse Ball hold them back. They cancel the tree, though, because he's in trouble. He needs some defensive supports coming into play, and that's where Matthew jumps in, gives the Impale to hold back Pakaz, and now they can turn it around with the Jingu stacks as Pakaz. There's no way they can deal with the Monkey King. He's going to jump further into the river, trying to chase down Zai. The Gush will slow him down, but Matthew, once again, with such a big component to this team fight to enable Pakaz to be able to continue to right-click despite Carapace proving to be an issue, along with the Impale as well as Matthew doing it all to enable Pakaz.
Yeah, the buyback coming at the perfect time when Liquid had already committed all in onto that fight. And then that's the power of the Blink Dagger, right? Bunch of TPs still available, particularly that bottom one, where they're able to just instantly get back on into that fight and put the pressure forward. What a team fight by Pakaz. He gets broken down, unfortunately, by Sacred using the Celestial Hammer onto the tree as he was trying to escape, but it just still works out so well for them.
They don't even get the first life. He's got Moonshard now coming out as well for Pakaz. Tier 2 tower is going to be claimed bottom, so you've got outpost control. Boy, big net worth lead. And they're going to look to continue making plays. They might get insane here under this ward. Run, little man. Oh, because so much
Run,
damage
Bambi.
with the boundless. Not like this. Just a sweep across the map. They take bottom, instantly to top. Lone's going to be able to claim the jungle, get the treants to try and take the T1 tower. A lot of map control going Thunder's way. And Matu's in trouble.
Matu.
They caught a glimpse of the starter. And the strike up in a couple of seconds. Matu will be okay though. Gets safely back behind the tier 2.
They're looking to keep the pressure up. TPing in onto that outpost.
So fast.
They're going to be able to back away. Boxy. It's a big
You
kill.
gotta-
It really
you just
does
gotta let him
enable your
die.
team by so much.
Oh, forced off. They're starting to TP down.
Come on, sprites.
Look, we're going to retreat as a team. Ravage on cooldown for another 20.
They're not ready to invade the base just yet. If we get the time, I'd love to see a replay of that team fight from next to the bottom tier 1 tower for Dire. It was so influential for being able to come back into this game.
They see Mickey TP top. They're going to start to set up. Alone's going to be in. Mickey can play around with the Yules. The rest of Liquid is starting to move to Alone. He's by himself. Thunder Predator haven't
Chain
been able to
bash.
follow up, and now Matu's going to be in as well with the bashes. Let's see if
Stuck
there's going to be
inside
enough
again.
damage inside the BKB. They popped him out of the Sprout. Alone's not dead just yet. They cancel
broke him down,
again. The
Zai.
tree's going to get broken, and they can TP out. No way. Zai gives an opportunity for Slider to be able to escape, and the 4-star from Boxy gets him out of harm's way. They'll turn to deal with the Coddle and said Zai's still stuck in the tree line. He's got the Ravage as a potential. The rest of Liquid are coming. Matu's back in the action. The Ravage is going to come out. He's going to try and juke to the right side. Matthew's in trouble, but Matu blinked him. No BKB to protect himself. Then Bakaz, a man on a mission to take this second game. The only thing holding them back at the moment is the calls. Bakaz can't move on forward.
He's fearless right now. He still has that Aegis available for another 40 seconds.
What is that? A curse with the flop, all the AoE control they would ever desire to get rid of one and a second as well as Thunder Awaken. What are they doing to Liquid in these team fights?
Oh, they're just outplaying them is what's happening. At the very start of that, it was Alone. Like, he ends up getting picked off. He survived for a lot longer than I was expecting. That's the power, of course, of the AC, just having all of that extra armor to be able to contest against that. They're still looking for more. They want to be able to catch out Mickey, but because maybe just running a little bit low on mana, not wanting to risk the fact that his Aegis is running out.
Okay.
Kind of putting himself forward. This would be a big pick-off if they're able to get the dieback out of the Nyx, and they do. Okay. Frees up a little bit of space for them. I was talking about the replay before. I think that one's going to be even more influential if we can get it.
And we've
If our production's able to layer that one out for us, the fight that we just saw, because the thing I want to highlight is even after Alone died, he had a huge impact in that team fight. Just with this one here, yes, they're able to pick up Alone. What I want you guys to be watching here is Alone's micro of his treants. He's able to just keep a couple alive here with the Sprout after it despawns, so he's got those greater treants going. And then into the later stages of the fight, he makes sure to micro them onto Matu as soon as he gets vision onto him. You can tell that with Zai wanting to pop this Ravage here after Boxy dies, it's all about enabling Matu to get in onto someone and instantly burst them down. I'm not sure if we see it, but right now you've got a Treant hitting in onto someone. It disabled the blink onto the key targets at the time, which would have been sacred, and that's what ends up getting him killed. He couldn't blink that 2 seconds earlier than he wanted to. So sometimes it's good to die. You know, it meant that he could focus all on that Treant micro instead of anything else, and it ended up winning them the fight.
back in action, we see Liquid smoking up, but not going to continue pathing their way bottom. It's not an area where they have any vision to play with, and really these past 5 minutes, ever since Thunder were able to find the Roche, the vision has been a big reason of why they've been able to play so fast. I mean, the Moonshotter Monkey is a crazy build where we saw at the nighttime that extra 400 night vision is incredibly important. Matthew scouting, you've got the Treants also just shoving lanes. The ward's positioning has been really important, and it comes down to initiation.
Speaking of that initiation, feels like Thunder Awaken are incredibly confident with what they've got to be able to throw back into Liquid.
Matthew drops the ward.
Moving on forward, warding at the exact same time.
Senu's on the front,
Should be
decent
pretty
amount.
quick.
Damn, 2 abilities in the Wrath of Nature on top of that as well. And Alone's even looking to TP him. Matu's out. They have the Sprout Leash now picked up as well for the Nature's Prophet. So we'll see how tricky that's going to be for Liquid to deal with.
They don't need to fight right now, though, on Thunder Awaken. What they need, in my opinion, is just getting into that Skadi onto Pikaz. It's going to provide you a whole lot more to be able to burst through that Enchantress before the healing comes out, reduces the impact of Boxy's healing.
Alone? Oh my lord, this is an aggressive TP. Again, Matu's going to be out with the Spider Legs, but that is a BKB on cooldown now, which is incredibly important for the team fights. The Triangle, Mickey, looking to make some chaos. They brought Pendu down pretty low. That's a big kill if you get rid of the Winter Wyvern. They're able to do so with ease. But now with the puck, he needs help. He needs Zai to jump in with a combo, but they're too late. Matu's going to fall up afterwards, but the damage from Bakaz Matu, he can't man-fight the Monkey King at this stage in the game. Ravage again, not a threat because of the BKBs, and now they'll blow up Insania as well. It's Bakaz, this guy unstoppable, beyond god, like 14, 0, and 12 is the carry on Thunder.
And you just saw there, that's the power of the Skadi, right? You had Matu committing with the BKB, running through that. Even with the sprint, you just get slowed down so much by the Skadi. They're looking to dive the backline.
Sacred's a bit deep here. BKB's on cooldown. It's going to go for a TP out. Ravage should be able to cancel that. Matthew's going to be in. There's a pretty big kill on Box unit. Every single hero for the defense. A buyback coming up from Matu because he needs to play around with the bonus armor from the Wukong's command, but that might not be enough. The Mischief dodge into the Jingu stacks to get the kill. The bash, it's not there. Matu needed one more stack to catch out Alone. It's a big investment to hold the base. A buyback from the Slaughter, but they could be considering Roshan.
Yeah, win probability was all the way down at 4% prior to that fight, and it's just going to continue to grow and grow. 70 seconds left on that Monkey King's death timer, and, well, they might be lacking a few stuns outside of the Ravage and the Slardar, but who needs stuns? You know, death is just like a 70-second stun at this stage of the game with how heavily Thunder Awaken are investing into this, and they're going to be rewarded as well. 10 seconds away from that Roshan respawning. Insania is going to be the one to scout it out, as long as they kill this treant first.
Stay in the pit. Oh, no.
Keep the Hellbear in the pit. The Tomato, all right, the Tomato's doing it for him. There we go, instantly pinging it out. This will be that Aghanim Shard. I want to see Matu pick this one up.
Yep.
It's very important for him to have this, just that AoE Corrosive Haze, really buffs up the impact of the Tide Hunter as well. Just more of that damage coming through. And it's going to allow him to keep up with farm as well. He's been dropping off a lot relative to Monkey King as well as the Nature's Prophet.
This also could just give them a little bit of time to work towards the refresher on Zai. I mean, we've seen... If he can get the Ravage off when the BKBs aren't there, then that big ultimate can be the turnaround potential. So potential... If he has second Ravage, then anything can happen. But I still feel like Thunder... I feel like they can still fight down the Aegis advantage. Are you in the same boat, or are they just looking to maybe stall this one out a bit?
They can. The question is, do they want to? Like, they could dive the base before, but should they? Because Roshan was about to come up. I think, at the very least, they've got the Halberd now on the Dawnbreaker, so if you're on point, at least you're going to be able to stop the Slardar and have his impact, depending on when you use it relative to the BKBs. You're also approaching the Scythe of Vice for the Nature's Prophet, so it just depends about vision at this stage. You've got a Nyx Assassin who's going to be roaming around, you've got a Monkey King jumping around in these trees, so if you pick up that Scythe and you find the right target, then suddenly you can begin a lot of these engagements one man up. Of course, it's all about that global potential. Anyone that shows is just as valuable.
Okay.
They're just looking to find something on the map.
And the issue is the lanes at the moment from them. Yes, bottom lane shoved out, but for Liquid, mid and top are also in great position, so it's going to be pretty difficult for Thunder to make a play. It looks like the call for them is maybe sweeping into their own top jungle where they're expecting Liquid to be hauled up.
I suppose, but I mean, you've got a Nature's Prophet and a Dawnbreaker, two heroes that are very capable of dealing with this split push and just shoving lanes out on their own. So, I don't know if this will be obvious, per se, but at least Matthew's going to be able to get off this D ward next to the Roche pit. open up a little bit more of the map for them to play around, but yeah, smoke just to be able to achieve nothing into an Aegis when your vision isn't that great doesn't really feel like the right decision. Maybe the pressure's starting to hit him.
This ward in the river is great for Thunder. They're scanning out aura of Liquid moving top. They're not completely together. Mardu gets the jump. This is a big kill if they can find it. He's going to look to turn around to the Nyx Assassin as well. Off the left side though. Oh, Mickey gets blown up. But Kaz again proving to be an issue. And now Mardu, he's split from the team.
He's out of mana.
The BKB on cooldown. They're going to be able to force stuff him back to the south. But Matthew, he finds the stun. Zai's going to look to turn around. Maybe Mardu's going to have the damage to be able to combat this. But Sacred again. The Starbreaker stopping the retreat. And now they should be able to surround the round 2, making sure there's no escape for the Slaughter as Thunder. That's a dieback onto Mardu. Sacred's going to be once again. This guy had a tricky lane, but we see what he can do once he can find his farm. As this is a big opening now for Thunder to close out this second game.
Oh, they've got this big creep wave as well. It's going to be all on Zai as well as Boxy to be able to push this one out. At least you don't have to worry about the Nyx Assassin giving that Carapace stun to be able to stop this, but it still feels like you're in a position... I mean, they were doing this in a 2v5 situation. Now it's a 4v2. You want to be going in there. You feel confident. You know that there's no Ravage available as well. It does give you a good amount of confidence to be able to just keep pushing on in, keep pressing your advantage.
They need Matthew. That's the big thing. That's what can enable this high ground, honestly, with the Spy Carapace. So with him respawning... Looks like...
See Picard's. Are you going Satanic? Yep.
Yeah, looks like that's his route.
Even just the... Does the Leveler need to give 5 armor? It's a sword. Does it need to give 5 armor? It's going to be really good against this minus armor strat.
Should Phase Brutes give armor?
I mean, at least they need chainmail to create.
Yeah. Sania? Bit out of the base. Maybe trying to split push top, get a creep and be a bit of a nuisance. But I guess the big thing for Liquid is Thunder don't get anything out of the dieback on Mardu. So he's going to respawn shortly. Liquid, they will hold the base, but the net worth lead is continuing to grow for Thunder Awaken. 92% probability for them.
Actually going into a Swift Blink next on the Nature's Prophet before he's fully 6-slotted. Feels a little bit odd, maybe a little bit premature. Could have gone into Daedalus or Bloodthorn, something along those lines. Even a Butterfly wouldn't have been horrible.
Pressure on Zai. He's bought out for this, so no buyback for him. It's got to be huge with his initiation. Comes down to vision, and if Liquid or Thunder, who has this advantage to be able to scout out who gets the jump, the positioning has to be perfect from either side. No one can clump up. The threat of the Curse into Wukong's, the threat of the Ravage into Martu's follow-up.
As long as they start the TPs early on alone, you can catch out Mickey very consistently, right? Because Nyx Assassin is going to be around, and he's got that stun duration of 3 seconds. Similar to the channeling duration on the Nature's Prophet, so it's all about the communication coming through between him and Matthew.
They're just getting whatever farm they want. Like, look at how Thunder are playing across the map. Everyone's farming the jungle.
Who can they catch? Insania taking the front lines right now. Wanting to join with the rest of the team. Not make it too obvious with Boxy shoving out that mid lane. Someone's going to need to address top, so feels like that's going to be him as well.
You can't leave this area now. Someone needs to shove top, and you need to get back to the triangle as a team. Like, this is where you need to fight for Liquid, and if the other lanes get shoved out, then it's going to force you to lose this control. They're going to see them, so they'll know exactly where Liquid have more than likely placed their vision. Of course. Alone's going to look to TP in. Towards the back he goes, because Box is just directly
That's
on
side.
top of an observer board. Ravage is out, an incredible start. Zai's gonna have the second Ravage as well, but the cold embrace. Keeping Picard's alive, but Martu's gonna turn to the south. Looking to deal with the supporting class. Winter's gone, but Martu can't stick around. BKB on cooldown is gonna be playing with the mobility, and Sanya wants to sacrifice his life so the core will make it out, and he'll do just that.
Quick dieback though. Mickey just standing inside this Roche pit for as long as he can. Yeah.
Hang on, Mickey's gonna try and kill.
Okay. That's
Let's
the
try
bane
to
of his
the mark
existence
as
right
well.
now. He even yoinks the gem.
Oh, Mickey, do this crazy, please. Not like this. Link up surely. Is it gonna go to it? No, dude, Mickey, which way are you going? Top, down, right, left. They get the hex, and Mickey's gone. He's got a buyback. A big kill to try and force out.
He goes down into the dirt is where he goes, and, well, it would be a big buyback to be expended as well. That Roshan has the potential to respawn. Of course, these late-game items start to become a much bigger factor if you can get to that, but can you make the defense happen with your 100% confirmation that there will be no Ravage for this high ground siege?
Martu jumped in. They need the buybacks. Box is going to protect him with the Force. As soon as they see Mickey buyback, they have to respect Liquid. Rest them up in 15 seconds as well if they can hold Thunder inside the base. Box is going to make this retreat difficult, but Thunder, they will successfully get out, and that is a big victory for them.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's a bit weird. I saw Sacred use the Starbreaker while he had the Solar Bind on him, and it persisted. But it's dispellable. So, it's kind of weird. And then you've got something like Dream Coil, which you coil someone pre-level 25, and they use the Q with the Aghanim Shard, and it just goes away. It doesn't, like, re-latch afterwards.
Martu's under a ward right now. They're going to look to TP in as well if he... Ooh, thought he was going to go for that wave.
Spidey senses.
Roche is up, though.
He's damn close. Oh, he's actually got the Satanic, my bad.
Okay. I think you have to give this Rose shot with Ravage on cooldown and Refresher as well. I think they need double Ravage to turn a fight around. Wyvern has to be the first one to be killed off, though. We saw what happened last fight, kind of the top of the pit. They had the potential to kill the Monkey King, but with that cold embrace keeping him alive, there was no chance for Liquid to take that fight.
Yeah, that's why Panda Boo has just been playing nowhere near the rest of the team. He's like, all right, well, if you're going to find me, you're going to find me well behind enemy lines where we've got plenty of vision set up to be able to catch you out. So it's just about those choke points in hard-to-reach areas that Panda Boo's been so good at positioning himself in.
To restate the importance of this game in particular as well, and both sides are still yet to determine whether they're eliminated or into lower bracket even. I think for Liquid, I don't think for Thunder, but for Liquid, they still have the potential to even make it to upper bracket as well. So still a lot is on the line here. Every game matters at the PGL Arlington Major. Cause? An early
He's got the extra Wukong ring.
I think the Refresher's on the Dawnbreaker, so they can definitely give the shard over to Bakaz if they want to.
He just wants to
Look
make
at
use of those
positioning.
double Starbreaker charges to not care about people like Puck at all.
R2's going to be in. Look at damage to start. They're going to look to poke him down. Dude, so much health coming back from the Satanic and the Boundless. But a BKB expended early. Let's see if they give him the Refresher. Sacred going to?
No, they just back off. It's going to be like death by 1,000 cuts. You even had Alone starting to TP up towards the top side to maybe begin the rat. Wonder if that changes up his item build a little bit now. Of course, he still has that Swift Blink queued, but really wouldn't hate to see him go into a Desolator as well, just to... Oh, actually, you've already got a Deso on Monkey King, so probably not. But just something that's going to assist you with playing a little bit more of that map rat.
Chill. Alright, so what's the buyback status looking like? No one on Liquid has buyback. Box is up in a couple of seconds. Zai needs a little bit of gold, 130. And Martu doesn't have enough gold, needs a grand. They see Mickey under this ward. He doesn't have enough gold for the Aeon Disc as well. And look at the chain control coming up perfectly. That's a dieback for Mickey. Oh no.
That's what couriers are for, my friend.
Yeah.
You need those to be able to pick up those secret shop items. But I get it. He was trying to push out the wave at the same time, but it is a valuable life to have when that was your dieback.
Cause? R2's going to be in. A curse, though, from Pandamu gives him the opportunity to lay it down the Wukong's command. They need to try and get out of the ring, but Thunder making sure that's not a possibility for Insania. And Matthew's going to dive out of the tier 4 towers as well. As Slardar stuck inside the Sprout. No buyback, and that'll be all she wrote for this game too. Thunder. What a performance from them. After backup of cards, only one death. Zai will make the attempt, but the Spike Carapace is preventing the second Ravage.
They're going to go for it, but it's just too much. Pikaz feels like Jingu Unchained in this game. He is just way too strong. 18, 1, and 20 to be able to finish up this one. And this is why you give Alone that Nature's Prophet in the mid lane. He did a fantastic job once again, and they fixed whatever issues that they had with regards to the communication coming through. It was just way, way too strong once they're all on the same page. And well, something like that Nyx Assassin, the Wyvern, wouldn't you know it, it's another game where it just stops one of the big strategies that allows Liquid to be a successful team.